Nation, and welcome back to SFL Nights. AJ Striker. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight or whenever you decided to hit that play button or turn on that radio dial. I really appreciate it, y'all. And I have back with me my friend, Mr. T. Roy Gaines. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine, representing the new Vulture swag, the white jersey with the black numbers.
All right. And where can we get this?
You can get that Sector 6.
Oh, there you
so go to 66 Apparel, go to every team's page, but if you want this one, you gotta go to Baltimore's. So
okay,
we got two different designs. We got the one with the black numbers, which is what I'm wearing, and then another one with the red numbers. So
okay, look at y'all being all fashionable and stuff over there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it ain't better than the Arizona Scorpions jersey, but you know, it'll do.
See, I don't mind y'all's because y'all have the Bengals colors, and I live in Cincinnati, so
okay.
See, I can tolerate y'all's for sure.
So what you're saying is you're going to be purchasing an Arizona Scorpions jersey from Sector 6, right? That's what you're saying.
No. Okay, what I'll do is this: I'll purchase this, put Eddie Gage's name on the back, and then send him that jersey so they can have it on the wall. Give it to your owner.
There you go, man. Well, thank you for coming back and hanging out with me tonight. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
We will be going over SFLm Week 8 games and the Honors Awards that just took place not too long ago on Saturday at 7. The games took place on Sunday, which they were absolutely fantastic. I mean, they were playing like pros out there. Followed by words are hard. Okay. Mike 10 Screws mock draft. See where rookies are falling in line as of right now. And my fourth and goal interview will include Doug Day, as well as Eddie Gage, the new owner of the season, for season 16. So we had a fantastic weekend. Can't wait to give you the rundown on all of that. Now,
especially somebody else got an award that's on this screen right now. I hope we will talk about that later.
We will, and I'm definitely honored. But I chose the Atoms, the Fuel, the Miners, and the Flight this week, T-Roy. And I didn't do too well this week. I got one right, man.
You did. You got it perfect last week. I know because Jimmy Hazard was on your show last week. You got it perfect last time. What happened?
I guess 50-50 chance.
All right.
For instance, with the Fuel, I just kind of wanted to kind of will the win. Not that I wanted to see anybody lose ever, but you know, they just hadn't had any luck this season, and I just wanted to see them, you know, take at least one win home. And you know, maybe if I said it because I got all the rest of them right, it was gonna help. But
yeah, if I'm gonna be biased, I'll be a Birmingham Fuel a fan this Friday because I want them to not be the next team that go winless.
Yeah, it is that one more week, man. I got one more week to do your thing. At least try. And I know the coaching is, you know, it's hard to be a coach. So I get it. But so the Lexington Miners took on the Madison Lynx, and the Lynx won 34-17. I was wrong about this game. The Miners had 209 yards passing, 86 yards rushing, 295 yards total. Their time of possession was 22 minutes, 45 seconds with no mistakes. The Madison Lynx had 316 yards passing with only 74 yards rushing, but 390 yards total. Their time of possession was 21 minutes, 56 seconds with no mistakes. So the Lexington Miners and Madison Lynx had a fantastic game. They were battling back and forth, you know, until Madison were able to kind of just make it so it was kind of unreachable at that point. I think the key to that probably was Madison throwing a lot more than the Lexington Miners did. You do have, it's like almost about 100 yards difference, probably a little bit over actually, in just passing yards. And they made no mistakes. Well, both of them made no mistakes. But I think because Madison had a better passing game, that was the reason why they won. What would you say?
I do agree on that one. I was able to catch some of that game, and Eric Price was able to throw some nice passes to Delabola, among other receivers as well. Finnick was able to get some yards on the ground, not over 100, not what Bailey has done. Bailey actually had a good game rushing the ball. He actually scored a touchdown in the second half with a nice touchdown run. But the passing game is clearly there for the Lynx in that game against the Miners. Hopefully Dave Burr will be able to, finish this season on a high note. He struggled this game. He struggled, unfortunately, all season. But now, for him, he has to get ready to build the momentum for the next SFLm season if he's not lucky enough to get drafted or signed on to a team this offseason.
True, because we got a few teams that are looking for, quarterbacks, so you never know that. Player of the game, since you spoke of this earlier, was Yusek Denanova.
Denobola.
Okay, thank you. With 9 receptions, 214 yards, 1 touchdown, and he had 23.8 yards per catch. The Albuquerque Adams beat the Memphis River Runners 31-26, and I tell you, T-Roy, this felt like a championship game all around. I was right about this game. The Adams had 84 yards passing for 228 yards rushing for 312 yards total, I should say. Time of possession was 16 minutes, 36 seconds with 1 mistake. The Memphis River Runners had 226 yards passing, 183 yards rushing for 409 yards total. Their time of possession was 26 minutes, 57 seconds with no mistakes. So, T-Roy, what did you think about this game, other than Adams playing lights out this season and being undefeated?
Yeah, and you think that if a team had the most yards, total yards in the game, you figured that team would won. You just said Memphis had more total yards than the Adams, but Doug Brown, one of the best running backs in the SFLm, just tore it up. Another 200-yard rushing performance. He scored 3 touchdowns, and while the quarterback for the Adams was just efficient enough to get the job done, they just relied on Douglas Brown. While GP Wells had a very, very good game, if it wasn't for Brown's performance, you probably thought GP Wells was the MVP of that game. He had over 150 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns as well. And Memphis almost pulled it off. At the end of the game, they actually threw a deep bomb, and the receiver for the River Runners was caught. If he was able to break that tackle, Adams would have had their first loss of the season. Instead, the defense was able to come through for the Adams, and they're still undefeated.
Or if they had enough time to run another play, perhaps another 10 seconds, that could have been a different outcome.
Right.
So that was, like I said, exciting ball to watch, just like the playoffs, just like the championship, I should say. But player of the game was Douglas Brown with 27 attempts, 228 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 20 reception yards. Next up, we have the Tacoma Grizzlies taking on the San Jose Flight. Tacoma won 24-14, and again, I was wrong about this game too. The Tacoma Grizzlies had 246 yards passing, 196 yards rushing, 442 yards total. Their time of possession was 20 minutes, 59 seconds with 1 mistake. The Flight had 289 yards passing, 78 yards rushing for 367 yards total. Their time of possession was 23 minutes and 1 second with 4 turnovers. So what did you think about this game? This was also a very, very good game to watch too.
This was a very good game as well, and I actually had the pleasure of calling it with your owner, Eddie Gage. And it was a well-balanced attack from Tacoma. Brad Jones was just a monster that game. It was the 2 of the top 5 running backs in that game, as well as the previous one we just talked about with Jimmy Hazard. And it looks like both running backs was going to have their good game, but Brad Jones just took it away with a long touchdown run on Tacoma's 3rd drive of the of the first half. And then actually San Jose start off hot with a deep pass to Doug Spelling. So it looked like it was going to be the Doug Spelling show for San Jose, while it's the Brad Jones show for Tacoma. But then Mike Savage made some huge plays himself to help Tacoma basically separate themselves from San Jose. And then the defense of Tacoma did a great job bottling up Hazard after he looks like he was going to have a great game overall. He had a great first half, but the defense was able to stop him in the second half, and that unfortunately hurt San Jose. So they're still in the playoff hunt, but they have to win this Friday's game to help them maintain that playoff spot.
Gotcha. And it's funny you should mention Jimmy Hazard and Mike Savage, because I've had them both on the show before. Jimmy was on last week, and he said that he was definitely looking forward to this game. I wish I had his input on it about it right now, because he said him and his brother were not talking for this week. You know, so it'll be interesting to find out that dynamic and see how their first game against each other went in their household. But player of the game was, in fact, Brad Jones, with 20 attempts, 192 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 reception yards. Last game on Sunday was the Birmingham Fuel taking on the Ottawa Cavalry, and Ottawa won 29-16. I was wrong about this game.
23.
The Birmingham Fuel had 197 yards passing, 58 yards rushing for 255 yards total. Their time of possession was 21 minutes and 20 seconds with 4 turnovers. The Ottawa Cavalry had 161 yards passing, 153 yards rushing, and 314 yards total. Their time of possession was 22 minutes, 37 seconds with 0 mistakes. So not only did Ottawa not make any mistakes, they had a better balanced game, putting well over 150 yards on both the rushing and passing. I think that was the reason why Birmingham lost. Do you agree?
I do agree. I mean, it doesn't hurt that, you know, your quarterback throws for 150 and your running game basically actually has 150 yards rushing. So Basil, I believe she is the running back for Ottawa, had herself a good game. And usually if you watch the other league, if one game or if one part of the offense, the passing game, is at 150 and the running game is also at 150, as long as the mistakes didn't happen, usually that team wins. And that's what we saw here with the Cavalry. Again, we talked about this earlier. I am going to be rooting for Birmingham this week because I don't want them to be the next team to go winless. Because there'll be 2 seasons in a row in the SFL. We have 2 winless teams. We don't want that. So I'll be rooting for Birmingham. Hopefully they'll be able to get that win and send some of their players, their 2-year vets, off into the sunset as they get ready to hopefully get drafted this offseason. Exactly.
That'll be good to watch, you know. But the most important thing is that rookies don't get discouraged just because your SFLm team did not win, did not put up the numbers that you thought they would, things like that. Things happen on the off season. You know, when people get drafted, that's less people for the players that will return to those teams, which would affect the plays, you know. So don't be discouraged. And this will not, just because of that performance, that don't think that you won't get drafted because your team didn't make it to the playoffs or the championship. Just throwing it out. Exactly.
And I mentioned this before too. It's like, and I mentioned this on a different podcast, Nelson Lozano's podcast. You can find a way to promote yourself in spite of your team's success or lack thereof. Just make a highlight reel of yourself of what you have done. If you're a lineman, make a highlight reel of yourself making that key block that allowed your running back to break out a big run, or allowed your quarterback to throw a big play, throw a big pass for a huge play. You can find any ways to promote yourself in spite of the fact that your team may not have been as successful as you guys would like.
Very true. Very, very, very true. Player of the game was Adrian Ellis with 27 attempts, 156 yards, 1 touchdown, and 16 reception yards. So, congratulations. I believe as of right now, and please correct me if I'm wrong, T-Roy, but Albuquerque Adams are now 7-0. Salt Lake City Rustlers are now 7-2. San Jose Flight are now 5-2. And the Tacoma Grizzlies are at 5-3. And this is pretty much the playoff picture as of right now, correct?
As of right now, but we still have like this week's action to determine who's going to be in. We only know 2 teams officially. We thought we learned all 4, but the commission found out some more info that allow a couple more teams to have a chance to take the last 2 spots. So the 2 teams that are officially in is Albuquerque and Tacoma. And the remaining 2 spots are still up for grabs depending on how Friday's action turned out. Also, let me correct myself. Ellis was the running back for Ottawa. I said Beisel. Beisel is the running back for Salt Lake. So let me correct myself there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries, man. We all make mistakes. I make a whole lot, so you good. All right. Cool beans. Thank you for that. Because I was kind of a little leery about saying that right off. But I'm glad that you were able to kind of bring some clarity to the situation. So that means on June the 11th, this Friday, week 9, to the SFLm regular season will take place. And the Salt Lake City Rustlers will be taking on the Albuquerque Adams. And that should be a fantastic game to watch. But I think that I'm going to go with the Adams. What say you?
I think Salt Lake is going to surprise folks.
Okay.
Because I think the Adams, this will be the one time the Adams want to lose. Because after this week, they can't lose anymore. Because they lose, they'll be out. So this will be the one time the Adams might want to take a rest and not worry about winning the game. Salt Lake needs to win. They don't want to miss the playoffs. If they have to win and hope that if they win, plus I'm looking at the stats from the league alerts. As long as they win, they're in. If they lose and then Madison wins and San Jose wins, they will miss the playoffs. So they want to just take care of business. And what a way to take care of business by upsetting the number 1 team. So I'm actually rooting for Salt Lake.
All right. Sounds good. The Memphis River Runners will be taking on the Birmingham Fuel. And I want the Birmingham Fuel to win this game just to save face. It's over the Memphis River Runners. I'm just thinking about the way that the Memphis River Runners just played the Adams. Like they took them down to the wire. But as much as I do want to say Birmingham is going to win this game, I think it will go to the Memphis River Runners. What say you?
Yeah, I agree with that one. Again, I want Birmingham, rooting for them to get their first win so they don't go winless this season. Memphis did provide the blueprint, I strongly believe, in beating the Adams this year. So I do think Memphis is on a high. They want to finish this season on a high note since they unfortunately are officially out of the playoffs. They have no paths to the postseason. So they want to finish the season on a high note. They don't want to lose to a team that hasn't won at all. So while my heart is in Birmingham, I believe that Memphis will win this one.
Gotcha. To the San Jose Flight, we're taking on the Lexington Miners. Should be a fantastic game to watch. Love the way the San Jose Flight played Tacoma. I think that Lexington is going to actually take this win probably by 7 points or less, but I think that Lexington is going to do this. What about you?
I see where you're coming from on that one. Lexington is a very dangerous team once they get everything together. Bailey O'Shaughnessy, very good running back. You have Jimmy Hazard on the other side, another good running back. Lexington wants to be playing spoiler because if they defeat San Jose, there's a chance that San Jose don't make it in. All again, determines on what happens on Friday. So San Jose is playing motivated. I would love to see them get Doug Spelling involved more in the offense. They started that in the first half of the game against Tacoma, and then they just went away from Spelling in the second half. I would like to see them. Doug Spelling, one of the taller receivers, by the way, in the league, 6'6", get some chances to moss people against Lexington. But Lexington, they're going to be ready to play motivated. Chad Rowland and one of my teammates, Mac Chima, they're going to be getting their miners prepared to spoil the Flight's chances. I'm going to root for San Jose because they want to fight for their playoff lives.
Gotcha. And lastly, the Madison Lynx will be taking on the Ottawa Cavalry. And I must say, the way the Madison Lynx played this week, I will be going for them to win this game as well. What about you?
I totally agree. They're on the outside looking in. They need a lot of stuff to happen in order for Madison to make it. But I'm still rooting for Madison on this one. I think they're on a high right now. Everything's clicking for them. I'll pick Madison to win this.
All right, then. So those are our picks. Good luck to everybody and give us a great show whenever you do, all right? All right, so SFLm Honors was just this Saturday at 7 p.m. and it was a great show. Cam has always been able to put up these fantastic shows, when he's honoring members of the community or whether it's making tributes. He's always has a knack for the flair, I should say. But what do you think about these wins? So Defensive Player of the Year for season 16 was Mr. Mark Mello from the Arizona Scorpions. Whoop, whoop, defensive end. So
there you
go. What did you think about Defensive Player of the Year?
I was hoping that'll be the other Troy that's in B more.
Of course,
gotten that one. Lil Shaw. I was hoping that he would have gotten it, but I'm happy since I'm friends with you and friends with Eddie. I was happy that Mello was able to get the Defensive Player of the Year award. But I was definitely rooting for Lil Shaw on that one. Yeah,
I got you. He did put up some great numbers too.
Oh yeah, he was the best Troy this year in Baltimore.
Sorry. You said that, not me.
I said a lot during chat, so I said that a lot this season.
No worries. I'm sure y'all get that. You're a GN now, so I'm sure you're gonna fix all of that.
Yeah, we're fixing that.
Mm-hmm. Most valuable player was Jared McChesney with 68.6% of the vote. Are you surprised about that or not?
Not at all. Hands down. What a way to end a career. He was a beast. Surefire Hall of Famer in my opinion. So he definitely deserved that. 100%.
And Offensive Player of the Year was Tom Pepper with 21.9% of the vote. What'd you think about that one?
I'm very happy for him. He's been in the league for a long time. He has shown growth as a player. I know the season didn't finish off the way they would like, but they were just one game away from making that championship. But Pepper has done an outstanding job year in, year out as his career goes along. And I wouldn't be surprised if Vancouver will actually be in a championship game due to what Pepper can do next season, season 17.
Oh yeah, when he's grinding on all cylinders, he can be a pretty good player to watch. And I think he broke some records this season, right?
I believe so as well. I'm not for sure the exact one. I don't want to missay anything, but yeah, he almost pulled a victory off of us too. So I was like, it was a close one in Vancouver between us, B-More and Vancouver. So Pepper is a beast, that's for sure.
Offensive Rookie of the Year was running back Ezekiel Love with 36.7% of the vote. And coming in a close second was Cameron Curtis with Fort Worth. So that was really good to see Ezekiel. I know he's doing a lot of work on the back end in Portland too. So for him to be Offensive Rookie of the Year, I thought was quite fitting.
Yes, it is. And it's always good to see a fellow running back get some awards. So that's 2 running backs so far in this list that has gotten a nomination for a big award. That's well deserved by Love. And the Portland Fleet was super happy. If you check the player content and team content channels on our Discord.
Oh yeah, they was ecstatic about that. Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie Player of the Year was Rhaegal Law with 29% of the vote. And it's good because I always see Rhaegar out there in all the chats. He's always been supportive of everybody, win or lose. Says good game in the chats, even the team that he loses. So I think that was well suited too.
I think if he was around during season 11, not for sure how long Wall's been in. I think you said he's rookie, so no, he wasn't around when I first came in. Duh. But if he was around during the earlier days where the chat actually matter in your rankings, he would been pretty high up there with his positivity as well. It didn't play on the field, spoke for itself. So well-deserved Rookie of the Year for Law on the defensive side.
Absolutely. And another storybook ending was special teams member kicker Kramer Jackman of the Denver Nightwings, getting 59% of the vote for the special teams member of the year. With him and Jared, I thought that was pretty much perfect. Great way to end your seasons, your careers off on a high note. I don't know if there's going to be another kicker like Kramer, but I thought that was really good for him to win that too.
I don't think there'll be another kicker like Kramer personality-wise. He was a very good person for the SFL. Now, hopefully there'll be players stat-wise that'll be able to match up with him. I know there's a player who has a specific jet who wears the colors red and black that is very, very good as well. But Kramer Jackman is a legend, not only as a player, but what he has done. He actually had a show like yours back in the day. So he was very good at that. It's very good personality for the league, and the league will be worse off with him not in it, honestly. So very good way for him to end his career with that walk-off field goal and getting that award.
Yeah, and at least, he'll still be here as GM over there at Denver. So that's a good come up for him and things like that. But yeah, you're definitely right. You're definitely right about that. They had a fantastic season. Almost won every game. So yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah, they destroyed us.
Come on, man. Come on.
You almost got it, though. You almost had it. It was no shot for us this year in Denver. We got wrecked. They wasn't happy with us, so they gave us a butt whooping.
Well, y'all always win everything.
I wish.
Moment of the year was Evan Lacey's tribute, where for those that are interested in hearing about the Evan Lacey story, I'll be more than happy to have that particular show in the comment, in the description, so you can refer back to his story. But his father, Van Lacey, has actually made a player for his son, Evan Lacey, as a tribute. And that was one of the biggest moments of the year to actually see his son's colors of it. I think it's the high school that he graduated from. Everybody on the team had his colors on, and I think he actually had a couple interceptions that game too. So I thought that was absolutely amazing.
It was tied for the 1500th game of the SFL, and Commissioner broke the tie, gave it to Evan, and it was well deserved. A very good tribute to a person unfortunately no longer with us. That's very sad. But Evan Lacey did ball out in that game, and he had a good SFLm career as well.
He did.
So
he does. And I think that this is actually helping his parents kind of get through this hard time too, because when they can look out there and they see, they hear their son's name being called out on the field, it means a lot to them. They express that to them. So love it, man. Game of the year was the championship game between Denver and Florida. Denver winning 31-30. Definitely went down to the wire. And of course, the yoga master himself, Kramer Jackman, kicking a walk-off field goal to win the whole game for his team. It was perfect.
Yeah, that was a very great game. It lived up to the hype set by that hype video by Bo Martin Jr.
Yes.
And it's very rare that certain SFL championship games live up to the hype, and that one 150% did. And you felt like Florida almost was about to pull off, but they unfortunately did what the Rams did to the Patriots in that Super Bowl back in 2001, 2002. They gave the team that eventually won way too much time, and they allowed the kicker to basically ice the game. And that's exactly what happened here. And what a way for the Nightwings to cap off a very dominating season. The only thing that I'm sure they'll be willing to do next time is go undefeated. That's the only thing they didn't do. But they're champions. They're two-time champions, and they gotta watch out for. We have to watch out for them. We gotta live up to that standard that they set with this season. It was a dominating season.
Absolutely, definitely. front office of the year was Fort Worth Toros. Congratulations to Fort Worth. They had made some, Stephen Hackett and put in some good work over there. So they definitely deserve it.
Yes, they do. Stephen Hacker, and then we can't no longer call him Nacho Sicario anymore. He's going by Luis now. It's a little bit weird. Yeah, not calling him Nacho anymore.
It threw me off. So I'm like, who's Luis? And why is his name and in the owner's colors? What color is that? Like gold or like kind of a? Mm-hmm. I'm like, who is this?
Gold, yeah.
It's just I weird. I was like, I got used to
that. I can't no longer say what you call a pass that ain't yours, nacho pass. I can't use that joke anymore.
You can't. He ruined it.
He did.
Tell him to switch his name back. He's not allowed.
Wait a minute, is this player retired though?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I can't even do it. I can't make a taco joke. I don't know, unless it's on Tuesday. It's tomorrow.
Gotcha. And owner of the year was Mr. Arizona Everything, Eddie Gage. I think that he definitely deserved it. I mean, from him telling us about all the times he has to take his Xboxes to every place that he's traveled for work, just to make sure that he runs the sims that are necessary for us to be able to ball out the way we did. And we're progressively getting better each season, adding more wins to the win column, even making it deep into the playoffs, when people didn't really give us a chance to. So all of the sims he ran, all of the time he gives, he definitely deserves owner of the year, in my opinion.
150%. He's already a Hall of Famer, so this just adds on to his resume. You know that he's going to have you guys in the championship game very, very soon. You guys are a problem for sure. I know that personally after facing you guys 2 seasons in a row. So Eddie is well deserving. I know that his constant video updates that he put on the Arizona Scorpions YouTube channel are very entertaining and informative to watch, and I think that also helps. And he's a very good person, very, very good person with a great heart. Well deserving award.
Absolutely. And Tim Hackett was the recipient of the Richard Pratchett Broadcaster of the Year Award. Congratulations, Tim. He does get a lot of love when people are listening to his shows. You can see a lot of interaction in the chat, things like that. So, I definitely think that he deserved it too. I mean,
yeah, he's one.
But everybody does. It's. I guess it's according to different styles, though, because everybody has their own flair, their own personality too. So I think that he won, but I can also make a case for a whole bunch of other people too, which is kind of, weird. But
no, but that lets you know that he's the cream of the crop based off of what you just said. You can make you can vouch for anybody else in that broadcast league. I can vouch for Michael Turillo, Andy Hamilton, of course. Cam, he didn't do anything this year, but he did some games. I'm sorry, let me take that back, including the championship game. But he took a step back so he can do the pre and post game and halftime shows. So he allowed the rest of the team to shine. Mike Daggs as well is a very good broadcaster, a play-by-play guy. But Tim, he was a beast since he joined the SFLm season 2 as a commentator, and I know I said that during the interview with Cam that he and his partner at the time was going to be great for the majors once they joined the majors broadcasting team, and Tim has proven that because this is the second time he won that award in a row.
Absolutely. And last award given for the night was the Community Ambassador of the Year Award.
I don't know where to point because I'm not for sure where my screen is. If I'm to your left, I guess I'm pointing this way. I'm trying to point to Ashley somehow.
The other way.
Other way? This way?
There you go.
All right, there. Pointing to her.
I do share this prestigious honor with Mr. Dave Axis. This season, this is the first time there have been 2 community ambassadors. Cam announced that we both received 46%. Well, 46 votes, I should say. And he said that he combed through it, this, the fine-tooth comb, just making sure that everything was correct, and it was. So the community decided to do a Mr. and a Mrs. ambassador. And I'm truly grateful for this opportunity. Dave has won it twice. I've won it 4 times. I never thought that I would have made an impact on this league that much to be able to basically win it this many times in a row. And it's a true honor. It's just a cute little title. It's something that I do take very serious. And it's not just about having a show. It's not about just being in chat. It's about what you're doing behind the scenes, not just for the league, but for the players, for the community themselves. I take pride in checking on everybody. One of my favorite things to do is just do my wellness checks for not only my team, but for at least 2 or 3 players on every team. Contributing to the beat writing team, contributing to social media, all of that, I don't mind, because I really do love this league. I really do love this community. And again, I put out a big kind of thank you in the chat, on league content. But I sincerely want to thank each and every one of you for the votes that you cast for me and for Dave, because Dave does do a whole lot of work on the podcaster side, even behind the scenes, making sure that everybody is having a good time and things like that. So I can't say enough thank yous, guys.
Well, you're going to get more praise coming your way, because I remember this time last season I was on your show and I said what you have done up to that point, which was 3 in a row up to that point, was Hall of Fame worthy. And I think you may have solidified that with your 4th one, along with Dave earning his 2nd one in a row. You guys have done a lot for this league. You make the league even more enjoyable than what it already is now with the content that you guys are providing. You guys are leading the way with all the other podcasts that are now starting or has been around for like a couple of years. You guys are the standards. But what you do is phenomenal. It's something that I don't think I can even do, even bother to try to do, because I know it takes a lot of hard work to do that. On top of the fact that you both are also GMs of your respective teams. So you have to manage that as well. So you guys are amazing people. I know that Dave will be Hall of Fame worthy very soon, but I definitely say, Ashley, you are already there based off of what you have done in the community. And of course, your player will help back that up as the years go on.
Well, I appreciate that, man. That would be an honor to be in the Hall of Fame class too. But one season at a time. But speaking of Hall of Fame, I'm actually running that across the board. Congratulations to all of the class, the 2021 class of Hall of Fame class, as well as all of you that are on the Pro Bowl, that are on the All-Star Games. Congratulations for your accomplishments. You guys are there for a reason, because you put up those stats that was needed to make us to give us a great game that's going to be coming up. East versus West, we do it every season. I can't wait for it.
I can't wait for it too. I'll have 4 of my teammates representing the East. There will still be a Troy on the East side. Represent Baltimore very well, along with Ivory, and let me get all my teammates there. I'll make sure I give props to my teammates because they did an awesome job. So we have Ivory, we have Al Walker, we have Loshaw, and Gio once again makes an all-star team. He's doing it as a special teamer strictly this season, but I'm so happy for them. You're happy for your players making an all-star team as well. And congrats to, let me go over this list, because this list of the Hall of Famers, these people were around when I first joined, and they of course been around longer than that. We got Alex Dominguez, big sexy Alex Dominguez from Florida. BDG Hollywood, the legend, very good running back. Of course, Kramer Jackman, first ballot. He makes the Hall of Fame. Dude walks off with was a walk-off field goal, ends his career on top, makes it to the Hall of Fame. Ron Cochran makes it to the Hall of Fame. The quarterback for Florida, Aquanta Shine, Tiberius Bovine. Those who may not know that is Michael Irvine. So Cam's father is Tiberius Bovine, if I'm not mistaken. Cole Varner, the kicker of Mexico City. Christian Christensen. I was actually a fan of his in season 10 because I was rooting for Tallahassee Pride, the team that's now known as Jacksonville, before I became a player in the league. So I was rooting for him big time. So Frank Gooden also make it. David Overstreet is also in there. Ramos Lynn, the owner of Mexico City and analyst for the SFL broadcasters. Glad that he made it in, and I'm so happy for Mike Dax as well. Also, Ramos Lynn, former Baltimore player, by the way. So he was Baltimore Crab, but still a Baltimore brother. So he gets the utmost respect, and Mike Dax definitely well deserved after all the hard work he does getting the broadcast team on the level that we're at now. So congrats to everybody that made the Hall of Fame this year.
Wonderful. And to my teammates, Donnie Hands, Mark Mello, to Iverson Gamble, and BJ Lovelace. Well, BJ is now GM at Queen City. Oh, almost. He's GM over there in Queen City right now. But since he was playing in Arizona, he gets to wear the Arizona Scorpions uniform just one last time, I believe. And so it'd be nice to see all of my teammates out there doing their thing. I'm always encouraging them to go be great, and that's what they're doing. We've got 5 people from Arizona that made it. So,
well deserved.
Yeah, man. Yeah, did our thing. Man. I'm really proud of our team, and I think that we definitely have we're going to be on a different streak this coming season. So. We're trying to be like Baltimore. Y'all never had nobody that want to leave.
We're trying our best to keep it that way.
No, I get that. But T-Roy, thank you so much for going over all this with me. And up next, I have mock draft from Mike Tinscrew. Coming right up.
All right, so SFL Nation, we are back with Mike Tinscrew's mock draft. Now, this has been updated for week 8, and I'm excited to see who moved up, who stayed where they are, who kind of moved down a little bit. And it looks like we have a couple of categories that there are no changes, so this will be very interesting to report. But if you want to know more about the league, feel free to visit us at www.simulationfl.net for more information on teams, how to join our Discord. Even if you want to actually have a phone call from the commissioner himself, Cameron Irvine, go to our league website and check it out. So, what I have here is as follows. There has been no changes in the quarterback positioning. So, Joseph Green is still number 1, followed by Tommy Utah, Scar Patterson, O.J. Bruin, Dave Bird, Trellis Blankton, Eric Price, Johnny Reno, and Gene Struthers. In the running back category, Douglas Brown, Bailey O'Shaughnessy, and Brad Jones are still sitting pretty at 1, 2, and 3, while Jimmy Hazards has moved up in the power rankings at number 4. G.P. Wells has moved down, followed by Brooke Basil, Randy Squarebush, Trey Finnick, and Adrian Ellis. Fullback position goes as follows. Terrell Sutherland moving all the way up to the top of the fullback leaderboards, followed by Aaron Alexander and Hattori Hanzo and Chris Brighton. Wide receivers include Nate Ritters, Shane Kaufman, Justice Blackwell, David Gears, Ryan Roosevelt, Kelsey Brown, and Yusek Stenanova sitting at the number 1 through 7 positions. Actually, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 through 7. And then we have Mike Churchill and Mike Savage moving up in the wide receiver category, while Nick Lockett, Doug Spelling, and Josh Stiles have moved down. We also have Israel Adams, and Henry Meyer III moving up. Ace Sharp, Logan Strange, Zachary Patton, and Oren Darby round off the wide receivers. At the tight end position, number 1, 2, and 3 is Pauly Truth, Jim Copeland Jr., and Tylon Steele, followed by Caesar Ackerman moving up in the rankings. Rupert Westcloud took a little step back while Bill Henry moved up. Eric Catcham has moved down, and Anthony Delano and Yarn Hamron are holding steady at positions 10 and 11. For the O-line, first of all, Ethan Kai was nice enough to let me know that I did make a mistake. I said outside linebackers, but it's supposed to be O-line, so thank you, Ethan, for bringing that to my attention. But there has been no change in this category. We have Perrin Albra, Nathan Fury, Aiden Bleeker, John Van Man, Patrick Kelly, Brian Finch, and Mitchell Withers, going from 1 through 7. On the defensive end side of things, we have John Lally, Brogan Spirall, and Frank Stackhouse and John Swift in the number 1 through 4th positions, while Matthew Holford has moved up. We have Mike Biltele moving down, followed by Morgan Mills, Marcus Sledge, and Julius Maximus. In the defensive tackle position, we have Robert Coran, Chance Wall, and T.C. Turner in the number 1, 2, and 3 positions. Isaac Forrester has moved up to the 4th position, while Tiger Santana has moved down. Linebacker includes number 1, Axel Raven, followed by Leon Thunderman, with Stephen Forge, Garrett Hudson. Stephen Black moved up in the linebacker position, while David Wares moved down. We have Miles Gibson moving up. Earl Fields is still sitting at his current position. And I have Taz Blackwell moving down. Bogey Barr, John Martin, Derek Williams, Zed Markoff are still in their positions as well, while Philadelphia Collins has moved down. We have Yukos Zolotov, Kay Shine, Josh Slapp, Zeus Howard, Deacon O'Rourke, Lucien Corvin, and Jaleel Usman II. And a newcomer to the linebacker leaderboard would be Nathaniel Diggs. Congratulations, Nathaniel. On the cornerbacks, we have Cody Griffin, Jahad Brody, and J. Rock moving up to the number 1, 2, and 3 positions, while Don Fletcher has moved down. We have Jermaine Minifield and Laquan Smith sitting exactly where they were last week. Terrence Pearson has moved down. We have Daniel Valentine, Stuart Mella has in their same positions as last week, while Xavier Hopkins has moved down. We also have Roy Vance, Ty Woodson, Daryl Bullock, Josh Ramses, ending things off. And with our free safety positions, we have Mr. Isaiah King sitting at number 1, and there has not been any changes in this particular category since last week. So Isaiah King still at number 1, the 3rd. Justin Reside, number 2. Daniel Wright, number 3. We have Josh Rowe, Jerry Degon, Ronnie Renfro, Deshaun Evans, Kenny Miller, Michael Lassiter, Amari Roddy, and Cyrus Jive. In the strong safety positions, we have Dante Grimm, Isabella Blackwell, Bryant James, and Frankie Custer sitting at positions 1 through 4, followed by Mike Jones, Nadia Leah, Adrian Blaine, Kenny Slider, Harry Husky, Daniel Sackledges, Taylor Weary, and added to the strong safety board is Mr. Robert Ivory. Tying things off for the kicker and punter positions, and no change in this as well, is Dane Morrow, P.T. Patois, Chance Towan, and Sunny J. So everybody, congratulations. This is of course through week 8. We have one more week to go in the SFLm season. So do your best, get your chat ranks up, at least make yourself more visible, do all of the shows, make sure that you're in chat every time, rooting on your team, things like that. Let us know that you're out there, right? Mike does a really good job in watching for all of the little nuances of you being out there, of you being in general chat, just letting the community get to know you. So do that, just do it. All right, next up, I have my 4th and Goal interviews coming right up.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to my 4th and Goal interview. And tonight's guest, one of them anyway, is the other Bass brother. You saw Brian Craven on a couple weeks ago, and I have his brother with me, Doug Day. How are you, sir?
Oh, we are doing well today. Thanks for having me on again, Ashley. It's been a while.
It has been a long time. I was telling Craven the same thing. Like, I gotta start letting you guys come back on a little sooner. You clearly, the last time you were on the show, I think it was season 13.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because you was on Vancouver.
Yeah. And I actually did that interview from the front seat of my car because where we lived in California, it was too small. I didn't have room. So now that we're out in Oklahoma, I'm in my big area.
Okay. Listen, I know about all of that. Sometimes when I first started, I think right around the time I was doing that, I was using 2 phones in my got just so I can have a quiet space. So yeah. But I see you got the Twinkies in the background.
Got the Twinkies. I got the Bash Brothers shirt back there. Got the Twinkies. Like I've been saying, hashtag bring day Twinkies when you come to the convention. It's a challenge. I want to see how many people will bring me Twinkies. We find an area, we stack them all up, and then we get pictures taken with them, and then I just donate them to whoever. You want a box of Twinkies? Here you go. I'm not going to bring them all home.
You should.
My wife would lose her mind.
Okay, at least half. But that's very good, man. You signed them. Oh, you can sign them and give them away. There you go.
Autograph boxes of Twinkies. Hey.
I'm good. Exactly. I'm going to be autographing some footballs, all the interceptions people got. So I guess you're getting one, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, Doug. So tell us about yourself. Just for those that didn't get a chance to hear that interview with us that you can actually find on Anchor. It was just a audio. So we were just, on the phone and stuff, talking back and forth. But new questions this time. What is your age? Your name, your real name, your age, your hometown, some interesting facts about yourself, and your favorite NFL team.
Ooh, okay. Well, I am Doug Day. I am, how old am I? 52. Okay. I just turned 52 in April. I know I look 40, but we'll go with that.
That's right.
I've lived in a lot of places. I grew up in Oregon, and after I graduated from high school, I joined the Army, came back to Oregon, traveled around a little bit. In 1999, I ended up in San Diego, California, met the love of my life. We've been married almost a little over 18 years now, and I like to travel. I love to meet new people. That's why I'm so excited about the convention. So I get to meet, I get to meet everybody. You see pictures here and there, but you just don't get the full effect of
seeing somebody, right?
Of seeing somebody, yeah. So it's been kind of funny because I've put it out there that I have a list. And some people are like, well, what's that list? And I said, well, the list is people I want to meet at the convention. And it just keeps getting longer and longer and longer. But so I like to travel. I love sports. Baseball is my favorite sport. But I got to go Denver Broncos.
Okay.
You know, being from, oh, looky.
Hi.
What's all the yammering out here?
I knew he was gonna make an appearance.
I'm telling you, that was yeah. So anyway, like I said, the Broncos, being from Oregon, not really having a team. I mean, you had Seattle and San Francisco, but you know, yeah, I kind of sort of know. But
yeah.
And for those that do not know, I have lured Coach Craven to Oklahoma, and we are now roommates. So that was so that's the greatest part about this league. You know, before, who knows? But you know, you get in the league and you make lifelong friends.
Okay, so what brought you to the league? Because I'm going to actually ask you about Brian a little bit later. How you guys even start this whole thing, because him moving cross country to come live with, that's a whole nother thing. But how did you find it in the first place?
Well, like I said, I'm a big baseball fan. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I've played a few, you know, I'm a big fantasy baseball, fantasy football. I actually have a fantasy league that I'm needing like 5 more teams. So if you want to jump in on the fantasy league, you just DM me and hit me up and we'll get you set up. Anyway, so I do a lot of like fantasy stuff, and I came across little minor sim baseball leagues, like Pennant Chase and Sim Dynasty and stuff like that. So I thought, I wonder if there's a sim football kind of thing. So I typed it in, I'm looking, and I come across SFL, and I'm like, what is this? So I, you know, did some research and, you know, started digging around, and I'm like, whoa, they actually play. So it's funny because everybody in the SFL, the biggest thing that they talk about when they talk about the convention is Harish died.
Yes.
And I think that is so funny because the very, very first game that I ever saw live from the SFL was that game. I was watching the game. Up in the top left, they had picture, you know, they had the live feed, and I'm like, what is this? And then the wide receiver on the field goes down, and everybody in chat was just like losing their minds. And I see, you know, the person that I know now as Harish hit the floor. And I think it was Ray Bentley that came over and tried CPR or something on him. And I was like, at that moment, I was hooked. I have to be a part of this league. So it's funny because knowing that I was coming on today, I start digging back and I'm looking, and it's like August 19th. Of 2019 was my very first game with Vancouver versus London, and I had a pick 6. And I was like, this is amazing. This is just amazing. So
I think it brings a different dynamic, especially when you wanted to play sports or when you have played sports. And let's just say if you had played football, have you actually played football?
I played a little bit in high school, but knee injuries and stuff like that. And, you know, me being, you know, me, I didn't go much further than that. So.
Yeah, but it's nice to be able to have had that experience in the past and kind of relive it on the field and make a difference.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny because we were watching the game, and my wife was like, did they just call your name? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. I just got a touchdown. She's like, oh God. But she's been really supportive. She's been, you know, and it's kind of a running joke. It's like, hey, honey, you want to join? F off. It's like, I don't want to play. Leave me alone. So I'm like, I tell Craven, I'm like, hey, Craven, think she'll join? F off, leave me alone.
Oh no.
She gets all fine. But she, you know, when I told her about the convention, you know, she's like, book it. we're 7 hours away now, so it's like go. So I don't think it's the she's like, yeah, go. I think she just needs time away. Just like get out of the house for the weekend, leave me alone, and just.
But who knows? So, maybe by her being down there and seeing,
Oh, she ain't coming. Oh, she's
not gonna come. Oh, well, I guess if she
Craven and I, we were road tripping.
All right. You know what? You guys should document that. I'm serious.
Oh yeah. So we were actually talking, and we kind of want to set up like a red carpet. When they're coming to the meet and greet, we could set up like on the side of the hallway or something, and we're like, they're like, oh, there he is, Harish Prasad, come on over, let's do it, and like
he's alive and well.
Yeah, he's alive and well. We could do like a little impromptu, like red carpet thing, so we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, documenting the trip down would be kind of fun.
Yes, Andy did something like that when they came to Atlanta.
Yeah, I saw that. That was funny.
That was funny.
That was pretty funny.
But so Doug, tell me, what was it like, first of all, joining the league, going to Vancouver, and then deciding to transition over to Lone Star? Can you tell us about that story?
Well, it was and you'll probably hear this over and over and over and over. Craven and I were boys. Wherever he goes, I go. Wherever I go, he goes. And it seems like we've picked up a third one along the way. So Grand is joining us wherever we end up this season. But it was one of those, coach had a opportunity to, call some plays and jump into the coaching role and learn more about it. So he took it, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Let's go. So, but it was pretty cut and dry, pretty simple, I guess Charles made an offer, and we were like, all right, let's do it. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. So what changed to make you guys want to test out free agency? I mean, I know we have season-long contracts. So if you just choose to re-sign with that team, great. If you decide that you want to explore other options, you can do that too. So what made you guys choose to do so?
Like I said, it's a where he goes, I go kind of thing. So I am not at the liberty to discuss anything, what happened between, Craven and ownership. So when he came to me and said, we're going to go somewhere else, I'm like, let's go. So, but whatever happened over there, that was between those guys. But, all I know is it sucks to leave such a great, a great organization, and, they're going to do well. They're going to do well this year. So Fort Worth better watch out.
Yeah. I mean,
so's the other team that we're going to. They're going to do really well. So.
All right.
You have to stay tuned for that. So.
I will definitely stay tuned for that one.
Hopefully it'll be a couple of weeks, but let's find out about this automation thing.
Exactly. But I think once the automation thing takes hold, it's going to be a lifesaver for GMs and owners, and it's going to make things a whole lot easier. So when Cam does decide that he wants to add extra teams, then it'll be easy. But I did see the progression that you had going from Vancouver. Well, actually, your progression overall. Starting off with like 50 tackles and only 30 assists, and then growing from that. So tell me, why did you create your player with the strong safety the way you did? And what did you think about your performance this season? Because I'm not actually seeing it on the website just yet.
Oh yeah, I did fair this season. Being the first year at a new position, and that's one of the great things about the SFL is if you join in a position, switch around, you can do that. But when I joined the league, it was I joined as an undrafted free agent. So I was in the middle of the season, week 5. I join up, and Andy Hamilton was like, I have a linebacker spot. And I'm like, I want to play. I just want to play. So I jumped in. So as I'm in the league and I'm, paying attention to things, I'm like, wow, I want to play strong. I want to play safety, hit the running back, get some interceptions, because that was my position in high school. I was small, but I was like a fourth string. But so when it came about, I basically built my player, and the No Fun League says this a lot. It's a hybrid. I tell, coach all the time, I'm like, I'm a hybrid. I cover the pass and I can take out running backs. You look at some of the defensive backs, they're, 6 foot, 195. They go up against they go up against the wide receivers and stuff like that. But where I am, and I love the position I'm in at strong safety too, where I play right behind the linebacker. I come up, I can take out the running back, I can cover the sides, I can drop back in coverage, get some lucky tips and a couple of pick sixes. Sorry, Eddie Gage, too soon. But
very.
But yeah, it was run stopping pass coverage. And this year I will be almost by week 10, I feel I will almost be maxed at everything with no animations. Keep that in mind. I did everything I did this season. 78 total tackles, like 6 TFLs or something like that, which I think is tied for second in safety, with safeties. 4 interceptions, 2 of them, of course, were the pick sixes. But that was, mediocre safety numbers, attributes. And no, like some of the, 6'7" animations, but I had run reader. That was it.
Yeah, well, to me, I've always thought that it was better to work on your attributes first. Because it will overall make your player better versus you adding those animations that would make you great at one thing, but kind of sucky at the rest, So
yeah, because if you just, say you are a medium mid-range player and you just add 5 animations, well, you're going to get to the point where it's, well, we need to cut some of those because of salary cap. Now you're back down to that mediocre, that mediocre player that's like, well, now I got to build everything back up.
Right.
So like Craven and I were discussing, we feel that the player needs to work on the attributes first and then the animations. Everything else will come. Because once you get into a spot, say the team says, hey, we're going to move on, you got to go somewhere else. You're more attractive that way. You come in, all you have to do now is just add the animations. At the end of the season, cut them, add them, cut, if your attributes are maxed or close to being maxed, it just makes you a better all-around player.
I agree.
And then I think, owners are going to start looking at that, or they should.
They should, definitely.
Yeah.
So tell me, do you plan on being in the league or being involved in the league in any other aspect, or have you been? Since you've been here?
I have, and I can very proudly say this. I have built many SFLm defensive players. Monty Wyatt was on, he was on San Jose.
Right.
My protege, my greatest creations ever, Devin King and Gary Clem, the linebackers, they were on San Jose. And then, of course, you have the guys now. You have Van Lacey, Evan Lacey. He's come a long way. Those guys have just, they've just been doing their thing. But, the biggest thing I've been doing for San Jose is the progressions. I talk with his guys and I'm like, this is what you got to get. We got one guy on the team, Robert Crone. He is very, very anxious to get up there and get going, and he wants to get drafted. So, if you're looking for a defensive tackle, any owners out there, look at Crone. He's a good dude.
Yeah, well, it seems like you know what you're doing as far as building these players as concerned. Those are heavy hitters that you named, and they've been making significant impacts on games.
Yeah. It's a lot of research. It's a lot of, let's do this, let's do that. I've had some players like, well, why are we doing this? It's like, well, this is, you're a linebacker. You need the run coverage because they're going to come at you, stuff like that. It's like, just hit them.
So by you having such a knowledge in building players and things like that, do you aspire to be a coach at some point, or?
Probably not a coach. I'm more the people person. So maybe assistant GM somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I can see it.
But yeah, it'll come. Get everything, learn everything, get everything down, and then so we'll have to see how it goes.
Absolutely.
I'm excited for season 17 though. Really excited.
Yeah, me too.
Did I tell you we're going to a new team that I can't tell you where I'm going? So.
Yes, you did, and I do have a guess, but I'm not trying to be here void anybody's contract. So. But I do wish you the best of luck in wherever you and Brian and Cameron goes. You are the three amigos in a sense. So it's I'm excited to see where you guys are gonna land.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting season. Just not only that, but with all the changes that we've seen, they came out with some owner meeting stuff and, different players going different places. I really want to see how Queen City turns out, with they're pretty much their new rebuild. BJ Loveless, great guy. So I think he can put together a really good team.
Definitely. He really is.
Yeah. So I want to see if, what's that team that you play for? Oh yeah, Arizona. I want to see if they come back and are as strong. Love you, Ash.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I want to see them get into I want to see them get in there. Baltimore is going to look really different next season.
Yeah.
Without the T-Roy back in the backfield, but we'll have to see. That's sports.
And I'm concerned about Sioux Falls too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know. It's going to be, it seems like every season is one of those like, wow, because you see 3 or 4 teams at the top and then the next season they're just like struggling to do anything.
Yeah.
And it's weird, but there was that legendary setting change. So, maybe that was a thing, maybe it wasn't, but we'll just have to, check the numbers at the end of the season and see how it turned out.
So Tom Brahman was telling me the last time he was on was that with legend settings, it's not like the old way to where you can just run a few sims or not really run any, and then just be prepared for that week. You literally have to research. You literally it makes you hone your craft, so to speak, with it.
Yeah.
That may have something to do with it too. Oh, but no, that may have something to do with it too, because if you're used to doing things a certain way, especially since some of these teams have been here for so long, like Queen City, like Sioux Falls, perhaps they got in such a rhythm to doing things that when legendary settings came up, they thought that they could still do that same rhythm of things, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, well, the other thing too is, if nothing too drastic comes about, season 17 will be the first season since I've joined that will pretty much be the same. And what I mean by that is, when I joined, there were 12. And then the next season they went to 17 players. And then the next season they went to 20. And then they changed the settings. So there has been no changes in rosters. There's been no changes in teams. There's been no change, other than the legendary setting last year. So like we said, you have to run sims to check the variables on what happens. But, like I said, you add 4 more players, and then you add 3 more players, and then you add 2 teams, and then you add this and this and that. It changes the variable. So season 16 was what it was. Now, season 17, like I said, barring any crazy changes, we should get a pretty good idea of legendary setting and exactly what it does.
Gotcha. Got about 3 more questions for you. What is some advice that you want to give to rookies, especially rookies that are looking to build a defensive player that is not under your wing, perhaps?
Well, the first thing I tell them is, check with your coaches, because the sad thing is I've heard a lot of rookies, when they come into the league, they get into the SFLm general and they're like, hey, what's going on? Da, 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 da. And they join the team. They're like, I'm on the team. What do I do with my player? And everybody's like, well, you got to talk to your coach. Well, some of the players are like, well, my coach isn't really helping me. He's not really showing me anything. So, trying not to step on any toes, I'm like, you need assistance, you need ideas, just DM me, because my DMs are always open if you have an idea, or if you have, but the first thing you need to do is check with your coach, because when you do get drafted, your owner will probably advise you also on where to go. But like I said, again, when I first joined, there was no SFLm. So it was just kind of like you join, the owner says do this and you do that. But with the SFLm, you're going to have guys, like I said earlier, like Devin King. Devin King was maxed on everything when he got drafted. All he had to do, he was ready, built superstar. I think one game he had like 18 tackles. I was like, damn.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
But be logical when you're doing your build. This is not Madden. You are not going to be a 99 overall, as a defensive end or as a linebacker, because 99 linebacker, you're too much for the salary cap.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Actually, this season, the team to be named later, we've discussed, and I told them, I'm dropping my animation because I want to, help the team with cap, one, and then be able to progress my guy in attributes faster. So a lot of the rookies don't get hung up on the animations. Because one, again, that's going to put you at a salary cap. Your owner is probably going to be like at the end of the season, hey, we need you to drop your animations because we need you to progress this, and then some players get all bent out of shape and they're like, well, I want to be a gold. Well, you'll get there. Just be patient. You'll get there. My boy Craven, first season as a linebacker, he was all-star. He went to the all-star game first season. I think he was copper or bronze. I mean, he was, he's still, low on the totem pole, but he's getting there. He's he's in there. But, it's just do your thing. Enjoy the game, enjoy the community, enjoy the experience. Like I said, the first time I heard my name called on TV, I was like, wait, what did he say? and that's the experience about it.
Exactly.
Get to know everybody. You want to coach, get the game, learn the game in the aspect of when the game was made. You can't think of it like Madden 21 because this is All Pro 2K8. like 12, 15 years ago or something like that, whatever it was. But, you know, it's not the NFL. It's not, you know, you have to clear your mind of what you know and just learn everything about this system. You know, you learn coaching, you learn scouting. Big thing is scouting. Teams are, you know how to scout?
Yes.
Come on in. You know,
absolutely.
That's the big, you know, scouting is huge.
It is.
You know,
very important.
Very important.
All right. So tell us, what is it like living with Brian Craven? Please tell me. Do you sleep at night? Is he, you know, what kind of person is he? Off camera.
Well, once we got through the whole, you know, him taking my Twinkies and stuff like that, we're all right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Twinkies in the middle of the night.
I wake up in the middle of the night. He's like, got a Twinkie. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's really cool. It's like having it's like having a big brother in the house. You know, it's like we work at the same place. We have different days off. Our times are a little bit different. So he'll get off work like an hour or two before I do. So when I come home, he's in the room doing Sims or whatever he's doing, you know, and I'll kind of walk by and I'll look into the room and I'll be like, you know, and he'll be like, so, but we talk about the league and the rule, you know, just all sorts of stuff, you know, but yeah, it's really cool.
Nice.
It's really fun.
And I think it's really a good thing on the league, or to say about the league, is that you can potentially find your roommate, you know, you can just develop relationships with people, you know, that you may have not known otherwise. Mm-hmm. So I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it was an interesting trip for him because he did the whole train thing out here, and you know, but yeah, it's been a very interesting, very cool, very, you know, just like, wow, I can't believe I'm in Oklahoma. You know, he still says I can't believe I'm in Oklahoma. And of course, you know, then he fires off with Oklahoma.
Oh Lord, I can only imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you two together would be just too much.
Oh yeah, we get rowdy every once in a while. My wife's just like, oh boy. But
poor her.
like I said earlier, she's been really supportive of, you know, this whole journey. And you know, when we started talking about, you know, him coming out, you know, at first it was just kind of like, maybe I can get Craven to come out, you know, and she's like, okay. I'm like, oh, well, all right then. So
see? That's wonderful. That's really good though. That's really good. So what do you think how do you foresee season 17 going for you and for your player?
For me and my player, well, like I said, I'm a progression monster, because every time Brian and I start talking about something, you know, it's like, oh, wait a minute. And I run to my computer and I pull up my files and I start typing in, and I'm like, boom, there's my progression for the next 3 seasons. And he's like, oh Lord. And I said, wait, let me do one for you, you know, and I'm like, here you go, you know. So yeah, I should be, you know, I should be a monster. Like I said, the linebacker / strong safety hybrid, you know. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see, you know, the team to be named later, you know, jumping in there and the pieces around, you know, everybody. It's gonna be they're gonna have a good run.
Gotcha.
They're really going to have a good run, I feel.
Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I could tell you, I could tell you want to tell me so bad, but I could tell, but
I can confirm that it is not the. Did my mic go out? No. Did my mic go?
You just didn't say nothing.
I'd be like,
listen, don't you get your contract voided. We'll find out soon enough.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure wherever you go, you guys are going to be an integral part in what they're going to be doing, their game plans. With Bryant having the knowledge of sims and with you having the knowledge of progressions, I think that's a dynamic duo. That's why you guys are brothers, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be good for you guys. But my last question to you, actually, I have two. I keep saying that, but if you can quickly tell me what by June the 4th of 2022, what would you like to have accomplished in your real life and on the field?
Oh, okay. So in my real life, I'm actually hoping to become a supervisor where I work.
Okay.
As a lot of you know, I used to live in San Diego, worked for the same company that I work for now in Oklahoma. So one of the big transitions was when I came out here, there was a lot of like, San Diego would do this and this place does that. Mm-hmm. So if it would have been the same, I probably would have been able to move in quicker. But like I told my manager, I said, just let me, get in a little bit, see how everything runs, see how the systems are and all that stuff. Let me, settle in. And then, if a supervisor spot comes open, then, we'll move from there. So, but yeah, hopefully that. I keep telling my wife I want to get a dog, but she puts the hard kibosh on that because we already have 3 cats, and you can just imagine.
That's too much.
The hilarity that would ensue.
Too much.
For my player, well, let's see. It looks like in about 1 hour, they're going to name the all-star team. Yes. Which I do not feel that I am going to make, tried hard, but I don't think I'm going to make this one. But next season.
Don't feel bad. I never make it either.
I'm hoping by next season I'm in, or in 1 year, I'm hopefully in 1 or maybe 2.
Right.
But we'll see. Like I said, my player's getting better. We're, putting some stuff together, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, surely.
Maybe with the team to be named later, I maybe a GM or assistant GM or something like that pops up. So we'll see. But for now, it's just enjoying the league, enjoying the community, enjoying, But the biggest one is I'm hoping I'm able to attend possibly a convention or something, if you guys have those.
I believe we do. And I believe it's going to be at a nice resort in Texas.
Oh yeah, I've already got my time. I've already got everything set up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I can't wait either. It's going to be a really nice experience, and I've never been to Texas, so this would be something that a new adventure. So we'll see how.
There you go.
And so, okay. So my last question to you is, how did you handle the COVID situation? I know that some people that I've been talking to, that's been on the show recently, some of them have had it. Some of them have had family that suffered, that lost family members. Some people had family on the front lines as, working directly with the patients and things like that. How did you handle it? And did it have any strain on your mental health?
Well, The job that I worked in San Diego, it's a vocational residential program for underprivileged youth, Job Corps and everything like that. So I was off work. I came back to work after my weekend, and I walked in and I was like, where are all the students? And this was March 16th of 20. And my boss was like, they sent everybody home. I was like, what happened? And then they explained everything. We had big meetings, but we still had 20 to 25 students that were homeless, didn't have any place to go. So they stayed on center. So even though everybody else in the entire world was losing their minds and staying home and being forced to, quarantine and all that stuff, we still had to work. So I would get up, go to work, come home. It was, other than the numbers of students at the center, it was the same thing. We're working with the guys, we're getting them, we're online classes, stuff like that. My wife, she worked for the county of San Diego, and her job, they were still open, they were still rocking and rolling, so she was at work. So we never really, stayed home, quarantined, shut down, see all these commercials on TV about, like, oh, we've been, inside the house for weeks and weeks, but we never did that. So from the time they sent all the students home, from March to like December, it was, business as usual. So then in late December, like January 1st of 21, my wife called me at work and she says, I'm not feeling good. And I'm like, what's the matter? She says, well, I'm just kind of, So she was like, not feeling really good. So she woke up Saturday morning and she said, I'm really not feeling good. So she's going to go get tested. So she went down, got her test, called into work. The next morning, I think it was maybe Sunday or Monday morning, she came up positive. So that Saturday morning when she went to get tested, it was very weird because she went to go get tested and I'm like, okay, well, maybe, hopefully everything's, and then I, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, started feeling, tired, heavy chested, really hard to breathe. And I was like, oh crap. So I, well, maybe it's just something else. So I go to work, and as I'm getting to work, it's getting worse. So I walk in and I told my boss, I said, you know what, this is what's going on. I'm not feeling good. I'm going to the doctor right now, going to urgent care. So I drive to urgent care, and it's just like a heavy bank of fog coming over me. And I couldn't breathe. I'm standing in line outside the hospital waiting for the nurse to wait, to take care of me. And all of a sudden, I start to go down. So she runs over, doctor runs over, catches me. They put me in a wheelchair, take me inside, chest x-rays, all that stuff, COVID pneumonia. And I told the doctor, I said, you know what the crazy thing is? I came here to go get tested. He goes, you're probably positive.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah. So I called my boss. I'm like, not coming in Sunday. Got to go get tested on Monday. My results came in on Wednesday, positive. So we were like, what the hell? So being off work Monday and Tuesday, she got worse. So it was Wednesday morning, I came up positive, test results came back, I'm positive, yada, yada, yada. Tuesday night, she's really having a hard time. Wednesday, really having a hard time, getting worse. So Wednesday, about 8 p.m., We called 911. They took her to the hospital. She was in the hospital for 4 days. Worst time I have ever experienced in my whole entire life. You know, I'm sitting at the house and everything is going through my mind. What happens if I lose her? You know, what am I going to do? We've planned to move to Oklahoma like the last year, and then this happens. Do I still go to Oklahoma? Do I go to Georgia where my parents are? Do I, what do I do? Do I sell the cars? Do I keep the cars? Do I, how do I pay bills?
Yeah,
but it was a really, really, really stressful, and then it went away. It was insane. She was in the hospital. They gave her she has asthma. So they were doing all that stuff. They were doing all that stuff for her. She calls me Sunday morning. She goes, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm coming home Sunday afternoon. I said, well, I'm feeling a little bit better. So she tested positive on Monday. I was on Wednesday. 9 days later, we're good. We still had the fatigue and everything like that, but it was like, all right, let's back to work.
Wow.
So I called my boss and they're like, okay, you're cleared to come back, and and we just kept on trucking. So we lost 3 or 4 former employees to COVID. And it was just like, somebody posted on Facebook, oh, did you hear? We're like, damn. And it was a wild ride. But but for the most part, like I said earlier, it was just business as usual right up until January 1st. And then we did the whole 2.5 week thing. And it's just business as usual again. We got to go to work. We got to pay the bills. We got to do this. We got to do that. So, yeah, it was intense. It was definitely a ride.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it. But you guys are blessed enough to come out of it, and to be able to have your health back and things like that. So that's a blessing.
Yeah. And the other part to that, though, is when you asked me about, tell us about yourself. Me and my wife are pretty much to ourselves. We go to work, we come home, we hang out, we sit on the couch, we watch TV. We don't go out partying. We don't go to friends' house because of our work schedule. I work the weekends, so we don't go out and see people and do things and, let's go to the lake fishing. Well, I got to work, so it's pretty much just her and I. And now that we've added Brian to the mix, it makes it a lot better. But during that whole time period, last March, May, June, July, August, September, October, that whole time period, the last whole year, it's been SFL. I remember getting on the gin chat and the locker room chat and saying, hey, this is what's going on. And other people would get on and say, hey, this is what's going on. And we were there for each other. We're always there for each other. Be it the COVID thing, or be it Mr. Ray Bentley's new little baby coming into the world. And
yes,
that's the greatest part about this community is, we get the highs, we get the lows, we get the mediums, we get, everything. And it's a family, and the people that come in, welcome. Right. Come on in. The refrigerator's over there. Let's, I got Twinkies right here. You want one?
Got plenty of Twinkies. I got interceptions for you. Clearly we got everything. But yeah, I must say, and I've probably said this 100 times on this podcast, that this is a great community, and a lot of people, they retire, but they find themselves back.
Yeah.
Because of the community. And maybe they play again, maybe they don't, but to continue to be in the server just to be around people that you gel with, you know, and it's nothing pretentious. It's nothing that anybody's forcing anybody to do. It just happens naturally. And that's not a common occurrence, especially in today's society. So when you find places like this, you need to try to keep it that way by not adding to toxicity, or if you see it, say something, that kind of thing, because that's not what we're about here. We never have.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you read the What Is This in the Swamp Talk?
Not yet. I actually just saw that he sent that Ross Napoli sent me that.
I think it was like last week. They, you know, it's like, what is this? And it's basically talking about what the league is and everything like that. So yeah, and it's just like, that's one of the greatest things that I see in game chat, or, you know, it's like, what is this? What did I walk into? What, you know? And then I see you in the game chat sometime, and you're like, you know, and you post up, this is what it is, and people are like, wow, you know, and it's like, you know, people are coming.
Yeah, they are, and we welcome everybody.
Oh yeah.
But Doug, this has been an amazing time spending with you. Of course, come back. Hopefully you'll be back on. It won't take you 3 seasons to come back, but you know.
Well, now that I've got my setup, I'm you know, ready to roll.
All right, sounds good. Maybe we can go over some SFLm playoff games or some championship games together.
There you go.
I mean, since you build all defenses, you might as well talk about it, you know.
Very true, very true.
And yeah, before I let you go, San Jose has made a huge turnaround. I know San Jose had a few struggles for the past couple of seasons in SFLm, and I did notice a change in how everything has been, you know, working out for them. So hey, kudos to you.
Yeah, it's just the minor leagues are tough because it's like some teams are, you know, it's like I said earlier, it's about the changes, you know. Some teams that are 0-6, you know, they lost everybody last season, you know, for the draft. Everybody went away. So they had to rebuild from scratch.
Yeah.
You know, some teams that do well one season do better the next because they have those second season guys returning, you know, but it is what it is. The minor leagues is a great, you know, there's a few little, you know, there's a few little things I would probably change about it, but you know, hey, that's the league, and that, you know, they're up for it. They know what they're doing, I guess.
Yeah, but you know, it's always a fresh set of eyes. Always helps bring something new. You know, maybe something that someone didn't necessarily think about. And if you go to the deputy, you know, maybe he'll consider what your thoughts are and everything. You know, maybe you never know. He might tell you to, hey, go sit down somewhere. But
yeah, he probably
but no, I encourage you to do that though. But listen, come back anytime you want to, but I cannot let you go without giving you the last word. So that can be a song, that can be a poem, or a simple shout out. But right now, Doug, the floor is yours.
Okay, you ready for this? This is way out in left field. So I knew this was coming. When, you know, because I know your show, you always do this. And our commissioner just had a birthday. Okay. So we also know that, you know, like I said, he just had a birthday. And we also know that in November, he is getting married.
That's right.
So I mentioned it earlier about my wife being so accepting. So the shout out that I want to give is to, I believe her name is Alexis.
Yes.
And I'm not going to try the last name because it looks way difficult. But my shout out is to Alexis. Alexis, if you are watching this, if you are hearing this, thank you for being so supportive of our nuttiness, our craziness, our whatever it is, because your soon-to-be husband has created a great community, and we all appreciate what he's done. And that is why when I get to the convention, the first hot fudge sundae is on me. So Cam.
You said the magic word when you said hot fudge sundae right there.
I'm going to get me a hot fudge sundae. I'm going to go out on the back deck and I'm going to look out over the water and I'm just going to enjoy my time.
But you better be careful. Don't get Cam the wrong one, though. You know, Alexis, I'm sure Alexis is cool, but if you get Cam the wrong ice cream, he'll try to run you over with his car. He already tried to hit somebody on another show I was doing. but yeah, that's really sweet. Yeah, she definitely deserves a shout out for even the relentless amount of hours that he puts into this. And the schedules, you know, she has to try to work around the schedules, things like that. So that's hopefully she'll be on one of our shows soon and let us know exactly how she feels about it. But you know, I want to hear her and Cam call a game. Yes, let's get Cam. If you're listening, make it happen. I know you can. Do it. Just go ahead and do it. Just like Nike, just do it.
That's it.
But hey, Doug, thank you so much for being on. I really do appreciate you, and come back again whenever you want to. All right.
Pleasure.
All right, honey. See you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, and we are back with my second Fourth and Go interview for the evening. And I have here Mr. Headie Gage, Mr. Owner of the Year, Mr. Arizona Everything. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Congratulations on winning Owner of the Year.
Appreciate it.
So how does that feel?
Actually, I don't know. It really didn't sink in because I'm not even sure what that means. I was just happy to see my name nominated. But to be honest with you, I wish I can get that award to you guys. I mean, you guys deserve it more than I do because, like I tell you guys in the locker room all the time, without you, there is no me. But honestly, I would trade that award in a heartbeat. If Donnie Haynes could have got Offensive Player of the Year, I would trade that and let him get that award. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. You know, I will say that I think, and I was telling T-Roy this earlier, I think that you won that because of the dedication and the hard work that you put in, not only to your team, but to the league itself, from being a broadcaster, from being a social media contributor, for being, you know, one of the most well-known and I don't know the right word, but like you're always around and people know you as the Arizona's owner. You have some owners that you never see, you never really hear from, but they can tune in to one of our shows and see you or hear your voice, you know, whether it's Nelson, whether it's Dave, whether it's Detma, you know, you're always around and you're always just making sure that Arizona is represented in every facet. So I think besides that, I think, you know, you just being a great representation of what an owner should be.
I get that.
So hands-on with the team. I think all of that kind of played in a role as to why you received what you got.
Yeah, I mean, I get that sometimes from people.
Right.
They see me out. And it's just more or less me trying to build the brand of, you know, Arizona. You know, we are a relatively new franchise. We're only 3 seasons in. And, you know, from OKC. And I'm just trying to put us on the map more, you know, so to speak. So, plus I'm always, you know, anytime I can contribute to anyone's content, whether it's you, Dave or Jacob or anybody, you know, I'm always willing to help out. Tyler, all those guys, Craven, you know. Craven keep telling me he's gonna put me on this show one day, but I've yet to get that phone call, so I'm gonna holler at him.
I mean, me too, Craven. What's up, man? We right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's Arizona had a heck of a season. I noticed the growth from every season, you know, from us going 4 and 8?
Yeah.
To 5, you know, just, you know, we keep growing, and now we ended off 6 and 6, going deep into the playoffs, almost being the #1 team. you know, in the league, Denver Nightwings. You know, you put a lot of time and a lot of effort into the playbook. So what do you think is the main reason why we have been progressing so much going the right way?
Well, I think a couple of things go into that. You know, I came in as a defensive coordinator. Then I took over the offense our second season, and that was the first time I've ever done it. And actually, I thought it would be a lot easier than it turned out to be. I remember when I was in Houston, and I would always get on the mind like, man, why is WizkidType throwing so many interceptions, man? You got to figure this out. And I didn't think it was that hard. And then once I started doing it myself, you know, it became apparent that it's not as easy as it looks, man. And it's crazy because I just can't seem, you know, my first season, I just couldn't figure out why, you know, he's having so many problems. And I'm getting there. It's just, you know, I still have a long way to go. People been doing a lot longer than I have, but I'm getting there. So one, I would say coaching, but two, I'll also say retention. Most of the guys we have on the team this past season, with their season 14, only guys we really had leave are people who wanted other, you know, coaching opportunities, or, you know, BJ going to be a GM, Tanner going to be a GM, and they didn't work out here with us. And so other than that, everyone for the most part has stayed. We had a couple of guys retired due to COVID, which is real life stuff. So I can't never fault them on that. But otherwise, you know, retention has been great, which has allowed us to progress our players where they need to be, because when we first got them, a lot of those guys at key positions were base bronze, and so it took a long time to get them where they at now. And I just remember all the time just telling them, hey man, it's gonna take some patience. There's gonna be some growing pains with me as a coach, you as a player, getting the way your player development needs to be. And now I feel we're on that, you know, to that point where we can make a run based off their development. But that also comes with me, you know, getting more familiar with the playbook and stuff like that. As you guys know, I've admitted to you guys in the locker room, I've made some mistakes submitting the playbook because I was rushing home from out of town. I made some errors, but kudos to those opponents we played to. They did their due diligence and game planning for us. So I think it's just a matter of a bunch of things. Me, you know, learning more and more every day as a coach. Even defensively, I'm learning more all the time. Especially now that I'm coaching the offense too, I see both sides of it. So I'm learning more all the time. That and retention, able to keep the guys in the locker room, you know, and that comes from not only winning games, but just creating a culture that I want Arizona to be a fun place to play. As you know, every offseason I tell guys, hey, what is it that, or I ask them, I should say, what is it that keeps you guys coming back? I want to know, because I want to know what is it I'm doing both right and wrong, and how I can improve their experience, make it a better place to play. And no matter how much fun they're having or whatever the case may be, I always want to know to, you know, I'm always trying to grow our brand and the player experience. So I think pretty much all of that comes into play in terms of making Arizona, you know, a good place to be while simultaneously trying to find a way to win games.
Hence why you're owner of the year.
I appreciate it. I owe it to y'all though. Y'all know that.
No, I mean, yeah, but you're the one that's controlling the sticks though. As noble as that sounds coming from you, you are the one that's putting in all that hard work. And that's not just you as the owner of AZ, but every owner out there, every coach out there. You guys are the one that's doing the gritty work. All we doing is just making sure we progress on time and progress the way that we need to make the team better. But ultimately, you guys are the one that's spending the most hours running anywhere from 6,000 possible plays that the other team could run. When you told me that, and when I've heard it from other owners, 6,000 plays, that's crazy, you know? So, you know, that, especially trying to balance that with family life, things like that, that's one of the reasons why you're do so well. So
I take that credit, but again, I mean, yes, I take that credit, but like I tell you guys, you know, without y'all, there is no Arizona. Y'all could be with 23 other teams, but y'all decided to stay here, and I appreciate it. In fact, Mark Mello hit me up today, our defensive end. He told me he was going to send me something in the mail as a sort of appreciation for you know, me being who I am towards the team. So yeah, don't get me wrong, I appreciate all those, you know, the fact that I know that you guys appreciate it makes it easier to grind and put in all those hours, knowing that you guys appreciate my efforts. So it goes hand in hand.
All right. So tell me, why did you scare everybody like that? Putting out that video, talking about, oh, I might be retiring, and then selling the team. I'm like, what? And I'm getting calls and DMs like, what? Wait, what happened? What's going on? You scared everybody. This thing is like 140 some views just on that one video.
That was not my intent, and honestly, like I told Cam, I'm a very emotional person, and you know I'm competitive in everything I do. And as I explained to Dave on his show, and I'll explain it again here, you know, seeing my play out there in the field, man, that, you know, I'm too old to play now competitively, to play football at least, and probably boxing too. So this is my outlet, and to see my player not on the field contributing would hurt me. And at that time, I was going through, you know, I don't know, an emotional roller coaster, because I was just certain that the way that the rule was written up, there's something. Because it's been in the past for several seasons now, and the way it was written up, I was sure it was gonna pass. I had people come to me, man, it's not gonna pass, don't even worry about it. I'm like, until you see the results for yourself, I was on the edge. And it really didn't hit me until that morning when I made that video, because before it was like, whatever, we seen it before. But that morning, it just hit me. I remember talking to Cam saying, man, this is BS, man, I'm pissed off. You know. And then I went for a run. I said, let me get up and just go for a run, try to clear my head. But the more I ran, the more frustrated I got, because I was like, man, this not gonna come out my way. I'm gonna have to retire my player. I don't know how I'm gonna take it. And then the video came out, and what I should have done was probably exhaled and maybe even hit Cam up and say, hey Cam, man, how that boat looking, man? Because I don't know if he would have told me, but just, I don't know. I should have. You know, I'm older and more mature now, but I'm always learning things about me all the time. And one thing I can take away from that moment is to breathe and, you know, take it all in and not be so quick to just assume the worst, and until the worst plays out, you know, to just try to keep a cool head, because as Cam told me, you know, me winning that owner of the season award, number one, it means a lot to me, but it also shows me, as Cam said, how much power people who have influence in this league has. And you know, when I speak, people listen. You know, just like your DMs was blowing up, Cam's was blowing up too, and so was mine from people I never even talked to. And so, the white economy. And so I gotta learn to channel all that energy and you know, not be so quick to respond the way I did. Hey sweetheart, can I call you back in like 15 minutes? Hello? Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
No, you good.
So.
But yeah, it's, you know, first of all, I was one of the people that was blowing up Cam's DM. Straight up. Like, what is happening? Why is Eddie putting out videos talking about he's getting ready to sell? You know, he might sell a team and because what is going on? And then I told him, please fix it. Whatever it is, whatever the situation is, please fix it. I worked too hard to retain this team and to put too much into it for this to happen.
Yeah.
He said, Ashley, just calm down. Okay, calm down. I was like, okay, I'll calm down. Next thing I know, everything's all good. But when it comes to owner players, I'm like this. Everybody plays their money. If you decided you wanted to pay extra money to have your player on the field or a player on the field, then by all means, do that. But if you're a type of owner has had a player on the field and you decided to retire that player, that was your choice. You shouldn't have to try to force your thoughts and your opinions on a group of other people just because you're feeling that sort of way. Perhaps that player means something as a tribute to somebody else, or as a tribute to something that they wanted to do, you know? So when it comes to that kind of thing, I think that that's always be based upon what that particular owner wants to do, because you guys are paying extra for that. So if you want to not only have your team and pay the extra money to have Headie Gage on the field or Quanta Shine on the field, then you should definitely be able to do that without anybody telling you that, oh, I don't think that's right, because somebody else might need a player because that position is basically just taken. When Cam can definitely add more teams to the league, and we will be expanding at some point, when people leave all the time, you know, and so those positions that are in the SFLm will eventually open up, you know, or you can retire and perhaps get another player that will be, you know, that's something that you can grow into, or that's find out what team needs are before you create your player and then go from there. But to having someone to, hey, you got to retire after a certain amount of seasons with us.
Yeah.
I've been putting my investment, I've invested my money. That's just like you buying a stock. And all of a sudden, oh, because you had this stock for 10 years, now you got to sell it just because somebody else needs that. I don't necessarily agree with it. And hopefully you guys won't have to really deal with that for the rest of the, you know, that won't ever be a question, because I think you should take everybody into account, not just yourself. You know, you want it, have it. That's my thoughts on it. But
here's my thing. Right now, the average SFL career is 2 to 3 seasons per Restelli.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets to the point where that average is greater, and what that number is, I don't know. I will have to help figure that out. And all of a sudden, we have people waiting in the wings who don't have a shot because you have players who've been around for X amount of seasons taking up a spot. Then I would be more, as I've told Kevin and everyone else, I would be more than happy to address it at that point. But until then, as long as the average 2 to 3 seasons or 4 seasons, whatever the case may be, I don't see a need to rush players who have been loyal and around as long as we have out the door. To me, that just makes 0 sense. And until the days of us holding up spots, you know, starts becoming an issue, then I don't see why, you know, rush us out the door. When we've been here this long, obviously we love the league, or we wouldn't be here this long. So why rush us out? I just don't comprehend that at all.
I agree. I totally agree. So what do you think about automation? You know, Cam was telling us about how everything is going to go to automate, how easy things are going to be for GMs, for owners to be able to easily access information. Everything is going to be stored. What do you think about that?
I think it's fantastic. Overdue. I know the league has been working on it for some time now, trying to get a system in place. And now we have something that's going to take a lot of stress off of league staff and resources and time to get things going. I mean, there's a couple of hiccups in it now because it's supposed to be released already to the players. But from what I've seen, they've allowed us access to look at it and see how it works. It is fantastic. There's a couple of hiccups in there, but once they get those couple of bumps out the way, it's great. You can look at the history. The players can look at it and see how they progress, you know, how many progressions they may have missed. You know, if you're targeting a free agent, you can see how many progressions they've missed instead of having to take someone else's word on it. It's, you know, once you get those numbers in place the initial time and you know it's right, then you can import the roster straight from there. You don't have to wait for the league to release it to us. So we can start simming based off actually updated data faster. It's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait for it. Everyone's gonna love it.
Okay. For those that are considering becoming an owner someday, becoming a coach, whether it's offense and defense, and since now you have that knowledge, what advice would you give them?
One, I would say let it be known. Two, I would say start from the ground. You know, come in, willing to scout for the minors or whoever, even your team that you get drafted to. Let them know that you're interested in scouting. Try to get the game. You know, I know a lot of players scout without the game, but actually having the game is going to help you that much more because you'll have a leg up on the competition. You know, in terms of getting drafted, you know, that's just another check mark you can, you know, check off on your resume, because if you want to become a coach, you're going to need that game. You know, there's just no way around it. You're going to need to sim games and see how things play out, you know, and if you're going to make changes and stuff like that. So one, I would say reach out, let it be known. You know, don't just rely on people like you and other content creators. You know, do what you got to do. Create yourself a social media account or something. Introduce yourself to owners and GMs and other league staff who are on these teams, and just let them know of your interest to become a coach, and let them know you want to start from the bottom as a scout. And because trust me, for whatever reason, scouts are hard to come by. Not everyone wants to do it, and it's because it's so time consuming. It takes up so much of your free time. It's going to take away time for your friends, your family, your other hobbies. If you have any, you can just throw it out the window, because there isn't going to be much time. You know, Jimmy retired twice for a reason, because it's stressful. You know, so I thought about giving up some of those responsibilities before ultimately deciding not to, and I'll get with you guys, you know, on a personal level as to why I chose not to. But it's a grind, so you have to be willing to sacrifice your time, effort, energy to make that a successful transition. But if it's something you really want to do, then absolutely reach out to those coaches, owners, and GMs on these teams and express your desire and your willingness to do so.
Phenomenal. So I noticed that you took kind of a step back from being a broadcaster, even though you have called a few games. You called games for the SFLm too. Why? Was your focus pretty much on the playbooks, you know, trying to make sure that the team makes it to playoffs and beyond? Or was it something that was in life that was happening?
No, I mean, you hit on the head. Coaching is hard, and coaching both sides of the ball is especially hard. And I felt I was doing my team a disservice by committing time to broadcasting that I could be committing to game planning. Now the league did do some things to put some things in place to make it so that there isn't as much time as required to prepare for these games. Because back in the day, you just came on and broadcast the game. But you know, as the league has stepped up with technology and all the things that they do with these games and broadcasting, it requires effort to prepare for those moments. And so, you know, the league has took a lot of the legwork away from us so that broadcasting does not take as much time. So I'm considering coming back and doing it again next season. I'll see. I'm still kind of tinkering back and forth with that right now.
Yeah, and you know, T-Roy was telling me the same thing. He had to just take a step back. First of all, he thought it was bad juju. Secondly, it was, you know, he was just saying that he wanted to kind of immerse himself in the team, which I understand. But you two have, you know, you guys have those iconic voices. You know, like Cam, everybody that hears Cam knows it. Anybody that hears Andy call a game knows. EK, Mike Torello, you know, even you, Eddie, and T-Roy, you guys, and even Damon, you know, y'all have those iconic voices that were missed, you know, during the season. So I'm hoping all of y'all can get back into it, you know, because that shows the depth of the broadcast team, to where every broadcaster has their own personality that they bring to the table, which makes it exciting. And then when Dags is putting together all of those people, like trying to pair up everybody, you know, but somebody that's really excited for somebody like you that's kind of laid back, yeah, well, you know, he did follow the tackle from the outside linebacker. That's the reason, you know, why he did his thing. You know, you always make sure that you give reasonable detail, you know, where T-Roy is just hyped, like that game y'all just had. Y'all just hyped up. Oh, he threw him in a shadow round. Here you come. Oh, yeah, and there you go. It's that balance. It's that balance. So, yeah, hopefully all y'all can get back into it, though.
You know, I'm going to say this, and this is, I'm going to shoot this in Cam direction. So, Cam, I hope you listen to this broadcast. But, you know, Cam has told me he would like me to be more excited, more emotional. And I started the broadcast off like that. But then eventually, you know, I kind of go back into who I am. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if you watch any NFL game, you'll notice that the play-by-play guy, his job is to get the fans excited and tell them what just happened. You know, the color guy, you don't often see him get too excited. His job is explaining you why what just happened. And I try to do that because, you know, I have experience. I've been playing football since I was 8 years old. So I know what's going on, and I can explain to you why what just happened. You know, what the defense did to make that successful, what the offense did to catch the defense napping and stuff like that. So if he just allows that play-by-play guy to do his job, you know, it's not my job to get excited. You know, now maybe I can do a better job of presenting to you what just happened with more excitement. I can work on that. But overall, it's not the color guy's job to get excited. It's my job to break down what just happened on film so that you guys know why what just happened. And I've had people DM me, prominent people in this league like Frank and other guys say, hey, man, I love the way you just broke that play down and explained why what just happened. But for whatever reason, Cam don't quite see that. He just see that I'm not excited. Like he used to get all excited over, who was that guy named Mike, the guy who just left the league or got kicked out or whatever got his name. Bald head guy who was on Chicago.
Oh no.
But anyway, you know who I'm talking about.
I do. Oh no.
Cam loved that dude.
Mikey and Proda.
There you go. He loved that dude. And the play-by-play guy would say, oh, so-and-so just ran downfield and caught a 28-yard pass for a touchdown. And Mikey and Proda come back and say the same thing. Oh my gosh. The guy, like you just said, he went over there and caught that 28-yard touchdown. Touchdown Atlanta. Bro, tell me something I don't know. Tell me why that happened. It's not your job to get excited again and repeat what dude just said. It's your job to tell them why that just happened. And that irks me because I can't understand why Cam don't get that. But it's whatever. I'm about to put him in the corner and holler at him for a minute or something. I don't know.
No, but I think it's better to have that balance because even if you're listening to an NFL game, you do have those commentators where someone.
I had people DM me yesterday, man. I ain't heard you in a long time, man. It's good to hear you back in the booth, dog. We missed you. That's what I'm saying, Cam. Holler at them people, man. But you know what? Another thing. The next time he does a vote on those broadcasters, he needs to have instead of just broadcast of the season, it needs to be a play-by-play guy of the season and a color guy of the season. And maybe I have a chance and win that award as a color guy.
Now you coming there. Yeah, well.
I don't know. But I'm gonna work on that just because you. I never heard you say that about me, so I'm gonna work on that now.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, man, I appreciate the different styles of everybody, and I always have. You know, from Tim Hackett to Mike Torello, those iconic voices where it's. Yeah. You know, you like I
Tim
know
Hackett is outstanding. That guy belongs on ESPN or Fox Sports or something somewhere.
Exactly. A couple more questions for you. So, what was the inspiration behind those videos that you're now starting to post more on the Arizona Scorpions page? Is it because you just have a lot of things on your chest that you want to get off, or you know, would you prefer people to just say it with their chest? You know, when they talking to you, like, tell us what's bringing that on.
You know what? That actually started season 15, I think. Because at first, you know, I was doing interviews And then I started doing interviews, which I'm gonna try to get back to actually coming season. I kind of got off track with it for a bit, but I'll try to pick that back up again. But normally I just like to, say stuff that needs to be said. Like just most recently, Aiden Davis didn't get to the Pro Bowl, but you ask these coaches out here, he belongs on the Pro Bowl. I mean, I know only so many people can make it, so someone's always gonna feel snubbed, and I get out late. Everyone can't get in. It's unfortunate, there's only so many spots. But Aiden Davis was a fantastic corner. He held James Hands to 4 catches on 10 targets for 70 yards. I mean, he gave him all kind of fits, not during the game, but just during my Sims too. I know them like, man, dude, I can't get big game James going, man. Aiden Davis over here locking his brother down.
Yeah.
And so it's just my way of giving people recognition who deserve it. I bring up coaches who I think don't get enough recognition. Like Art Vanderlei, I brought up. The guy's name is eludes me right now Drew Really from St. Louis, Sully Richardson. There's a lot of good coaches out there who aren't as well known as other teams. It's partly because of their record, I was supposed, but they do a great job. It's just the other side of the ball that's failing them. And I just want to give those guys recognition that they deserve. I talk about, SFLm guys who I think should be drafted. I just spoke on Jimmy Hazard and who was the other guy I brought up? I can't even think of his name right now. Jimmy Hazard and somebody else, man. Those guys, are excited, man. Every game they in there, they got the channel lit. Axel Raven, he had another one. That dude should be a first round draft pick. I mean, he always in the chat, on game day rooting his team on, whether it's him. Will Taub's another one from last season. Those guys need to be recognized because, people like me, I don't draft people on their talent or what they do on the field. I draft based off their personality. We can always build them up to who we want them to be, but I want to know, is your personality going to be the same way as your player? Because we can all make the player to who we want them to be. I want someone who's going to be great in locker room, boisterous, so on and so forth. Now, granted, Arizona don't quite have that. We got a lot of guys who are introverts, but it's a part of what makes us us. So I don't complain about it. I appreciate those guys because I don't have issues with them. But I like guys who attend all the games that they can. Always there. Hey guys, it's gonna be all right. Perfect example would be who we just drafted last year in the first round, Bernard Smith. That dude is fantastic. We played Vegas twice. The first time we blew him out the water. In the second game, DJ Moses got hurt in like the first 3 minutes of the game, never came back. Self-inflicted injury. Running around, freaking pulled his hamstring or some crap. Pissed me off. But and here I am as the owner of the team. I'm supposed to be the leader, the owner of the team. I'm down. Oh man, this is BS. Wasn't nothing going right. You was doing interceptions. I think you threw 3 interceptions in the first quarter, whatever it was. Nothing was going right. But here's Bernard Smith. Guys, don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna make a run. And this is a rookie. And I said, I remember after that game, we shouldn't have. We came back, we ultimately lost in the last few minutes of the game with that game-winning field goal by Jess. But it's guys like that I want in my locker room. That dude probably gonna be wearing a C on his chest next season because he's just that kind of dude. And to hear him say that when the owner of the team is down and out and pissed off and already assuming the worst, I got a rookie over here saying, guys, don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna make a run. If we don't, there's always next week. That's the kind of guys I want in my locker room. Bernard Smith, I hope you're a Scorpion for life, fan, because I love that kind of attitude.
Absolutely. That is something that is treasured because you already have, sometimes you can't lose yourself in the emotions of the game. And you could be down, you can be sad, you can be this, and then it just takes that one person to have those, that spark that kind of reminds you, okay, this is a game. None of us can really control the outcome of what happens. Just have fun with it, man, and just roll with it and then just learn from the mistakes that are made. So, yeah, I remember that. And he was totally cool for doing that. Yeah. And I definitely appreciate that. Sure. So with your new show coming out, Say It With Your Chest, what topics will you be trying to focusing on, kind of hone in on, or is it going to be something that is going to be off the top of your head, or?
Honestly, and pardon me, everyone, this show came out a long time ago, and and I keep pushing it back because work has just been crazy. And, you know, ever since, you know, January, you know it, Ashley. Work has been nonstop for me. Typically, I travel out on Wednesday, come back on Friday. So I'm going to do the show either Monday or Tuesday. But lately, the way my job been going, we haven't had time to exhale. So now I've been deliberating, man, should I just do the show on a Saturday? But if I do, who's going to tune me on a Saturday? They probably want to be out with family or something. We got enough SFL content as it is. So I've been meaning to put a poll out there to ask people, hey, if I did the show on a Saturday, would you tune in? Or a Sunday, whatever the case may be. Would you tune in? I just see what kind of feedback I get. But basically the show is going to be just about current events in the SFL. But I'm going to open it up to the listeners and see what they want to talk about. You know, I'm going to open the floor to them and say, hey, what do you want to ask me? And I'm going to pretty much say it with my chest. I'm not going to give you a political answer or what, say maybe an agent of a professional team, or a player wants you to say. I'm going to say it with my chest. Now, I'm not going to say something that's going to get me banned from the league. I am an owner, so I can't just go off the cuff and just say whatever. So I do have to be responsible. But I'm going to, tell people how I feel about whatever the situation may be. So if they want to ask me about free agency or legend settings or, who I think is going to go where in free agency or, what I think about players' retirement and whatever the case, anything SFL, I'm going to be here for them. And they can ask me in confidence or, when I respond, I'm going to say, hey, so-and-so wants to know this. But if they want something, ask in confidence because they don't want their name out there, then I keep it, that way too. So the show is going to be basically directed by, the listeners or an audience. So see how I go. It's only going to be in the off season because during the season I'm just coaching, of course. But I'm really interested to see how this first show is going to go. I really am. I get people keep DMing me say, hey man, what a show at? So I got to roll it out.
So it's gonna be live then?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Live on YouTube or on Twitch?
Probably YouTube.
Okay. I guess we have enough shows on Twitch already, right? Well, yeah, that's good. It's gonna be good, to kind of hear unfiltered, kind of unscripted remarks from someone. And yes, we will make sure you don't go overboard because no. I don't want to be owning the Arizona Scorpions too soon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So last question for you is what do you think about the legend settings? And the part two to that question is, how do you think that, since you've already worked with legend settings, how do you think that you're going to better prepare for us to make that playoff/championship run for next season?
You would ask me that.
I was going to. Come on,
man. I'm going to get some heat for this because I got friends in the league who can't stand legend settings. I love it, because we see things on both sides of the ball that we haven't seen before. The one thing I did learn, for example, is that there are less 60 or 70-yard touchdown runs. These running backs are getting caught from behind by people, and where in seasons past, that would have been a touchdown. So us as offensive coordinators can't depend on it. And we have to be able to diversify our playbook so that we aren't so, run heavy. Which is why I think one of the reasons why Sioux Falls suffered this season, because for as long as I can remember, their playbook offensively has not changed much at all. They may do some things out of 4 and 5 receiver sets. They might take out a player or two or add a player or two, here or there. But for the most part, they haven't changed. And I think after they went 0-2, I think they was in the 3rd game or the 4th game, I saw them running plays that I ain't never seen them run before. And I said, see, even Sioux Falls, seeing they got to make changes because it's just not happening for them. And same thing with Louisiana, Reggie Streeter, he was still an effective player. He had a game plan for him, but he wasn't that home run hitter like we've seen in seasons past. And, Gerald started figuring that out later in the season, but by the time he got things going, it was kind of too late for him. And but yeah, other than that, I love the legend settings, man. Yeah, I mean, it hurt us week 1 when Jacob fumbled that damn fair catch, because if that didn't happen, we win that game. We came out, stopped them, forced them a 3 and out, got the ball, drove right downfield. James Hand scored the first touchdown of the season, and I was excited. We forced him to punt again, and then Jacob fumbled, and it was just it's like from there everything just took a turn for the worse. We just never recovered. But other than that, yeah, man, I can't complain. I love it. So
okay. So how do you think that with you having a better understanding of how legend settings work, how do you think this is going to affect us for season 17?
I mean, like I said earlier, we can't be so run heavy.
One dimensional, right?
Yeah, I remember season 14, I think it was, no, part of season 15, I think season 15, DJ Moses, we ran that dude to the ground.
Yes.
I mean, he was either running or catching it. And it's like half the time when you drop back, he was throwing the ball to DJ. And I just could never figure that thing out. Like, I'm like, damn, why does he keep throwing to this dude? So I spent that whole offseason trying to find ways to get the Hands brothers more involved. And sure enough, we did. But I got to find that competitive balance to not make us so one-dimensional. So predictable on offense. I think that's my next step. And to kind of spread the ball around to more playmakers, while also not forgetting about DJ. I mean, yeah, he's gonna be less of a workhorse because of the style of play with legend settings, but I still got to get him involved in the offense so that teams won't just be jumping back every down. They got to worry about him too. So
exactly
the agenda.
Exactly. All right. Well, Coach, we believe in you. We always have, always will. We appreciate all of the hard work and efforts that you put in to the league, that you put in with us as individuals and as teams, and making sure that we're happy with our players as a whole. And, just making sure that, you keep AZ together as well as you can. So again, sir, appreciate that so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Anytime, man, anytime. Thank you for being on. Of course, you are invited to come back anytime you want to. It's
been a minute.
It has been a long time. And of course, you my guys, Arizona's, so y'all come on anytime you want to, just crash the show. We have all 20 y'all on,
That's what's up.
But yes, pleasure. But before I let you go, I need to give you the last word. So that can be song, that can be a poem, or that can be just a simple shout out. Right now, Eddie, the floor is yours.
I'm definitely not singing. One day, maybe I'll come on with a poem next time. I got to think of one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always tell me the same thing.
I'm
not surprised.
I'm going to do it one day. Because I used to be into poetry when I was younger. I used to go to, events where they had poetry sessions and stuff like that going on. I always liked that kind of stuff. But until then, I'm gonna give a shout out to the entire league staff who make this thing go. Without them, continue to be patient while this thing grow. Who knows where we're at as a league? So Cam and everybody else from the top down, appreciate them. I'll give a shout out to them. All you content creators, yourself, Craven, Dave, Tyler, he just stepped away for a bit. And by the way, whatever happened with Kendra, whoever DM'd her, whatever the case may be, that's foul, man. If that's the way you feel, man, you don't have to tune in. That's all I got to say about it. If you don't like it, don't tune in. That's it. That's all. Same thing with all the flack they've been getting lately. If you don't like it, don't tune in. You don't have to tune in, fam. Just find something else to do. I don't know, but or create your own show if you don't like it. Run it the way you want to do it. Do that. But all you content creators, all the owners and coaches in this league who make this league so competitive. I remember back in the day, there was only a handful of good teams. Everybody else was just kind of, a bump in the road. But nowadays, you can't say that anymore. Pretty much any team right now can win every week. So all the coaches and, GMs and owners in this league who make that thing go. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate all of y'all. Everybody in Arizona, y'all know I love every last one of y'all, man. Y'all make this thing go, man. And the comments and even Mark Miller today, when he sent me that message, man, that really meant a lot to me to hear him say that he's going to send me something as a token of appreciation. I told him, hey, man, just don't break the bank. Don't send me nothing, out of control like that. He said, no, I got you. But just knowing stuff, just hearing stuff like that makes it easier for me to grind out here and run that one extra sim that we need to do to try to get that W. So Arizona, I love y'all. I always will. I love you, Ashley, the content you put out all the time. Congratulations on co-ambassadors of the season. That's your 4th one. As a matter of fact, I sent Cam a message saying, Cam, she did won this thing 4 times now. It's time to get Ashley in the Hall of Fame next go around, man. We need to make that happen because 4 awards, that's unprecedented, man. We need to make that happen. That's crazy numbers right there. So Cam, get Ashley in the Hall of Fame. Appreciate it. That's pretty much all I got.
Well, I do appreciate that, man. Troy, he was on earlier, and he said the exact same thing. And I'm going to tell you, like I told him, it will be an honor. It would be a privilege to be a part of the Hall of Fame class along with you and Matt Wilson and just a whole bunch of other great people that has made this league what it is. So if y'all decide to give it to me or Cam decides to give me that honor, I would probably be crying, but I would definitely accept it with open arms, and a happy heart, because that kind of stuff does mean a lot to me, because I don't do it just, and I was telling T-Roy this too, I don't do it for the title.
Right.
I don't do it just to have a cute title. I actually do it because I really do care. And even when I wasn't officially a community ambassador, still acted as such, because that's something that has to be shown, not just something that's just to be said. So. But yeah, appreciate you, man. Always looking forward to our conversations, brother. And of course, if you need anything, I'm right here. Got to go ahead and get these contracts in line.
I know, I'm waiting too, just like you.
Yes, got to go ahead and get this stuff done. I'm looking forward to learning more, so hopefully, who knows, maybe years and years and years down the line, maybe I'll be an owner one day. We'll see how it all works out. But I think that I have a really good teacher in me, so.
I appreciate it.
Anytime. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, and that is it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Special shout out and thanks to Doug Day and Eddie Gage for being on the show. I also want to thank my special guest co-host, Mr. T-Roy Gaines, always helping me out at some point, when he can. He always lends me a hand, and for that, brother, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much, and thank you for having me on the show for so many times. I sincerely appreciate every time that you have me on. And she had to put up with my goofiness earlier because I was waiting for my food to get here. It's a long story. I won't go in there, but it's a very interesting story. So she put up with my goofiness while I was waiting for my food before our show started. So thank you for putting up with the goofiness there.
Hey, no problem, man.
Appreciate it.
I told him that if he was eating, if he could eat on the show, if I had pizza, I would eat with you. We could just talk about what's going on there. Maybe we'll do that. Have a little pizza party one day.
Right. It's supposed to be McDonald's, but somebody screwed up. Not us, but somebody screwed up my order. Wasn't happening.
You ain't need it. You ain't need it. That's all that was.
I never got it.
There you go.
Never got it. Had to sell for pizza.
But it's a good pizza, though.
Yeah, Pizza Hut, yes.
There you go. The thin crust. I know. I saw it.
Shameless plug. We're not getting anything from this. We're not getting anything from this.
Right. But listen, thank you so much. Of course, if you want to come back, talk more SFLm Action, especially with the playoffs and the championship just around the corner, I would love to have you back home, brother. Anytime you want to come on to share anything with us, okay?
Yes, well.
Looking forward to bringing you guys another great podcast next week. But until then, y'all, stay safe, treat each other well. T-Roy and Striker out.